Every horse that a farrier deals with presents a new set of variables, and these can be complex in of themselves. The horse's job, its conformation, the footing, and so on. How do you approach each horse, and do you sort of survey each one with a mental checklist?
I, that's a very good question because I really believe that the older the farrier gets, the more capacity his brain has to function as a computer. Because I've been involved in uh, conformationally challenged horses, different disciplines, and there is a checklist in every farrier's brain, what he needs, whether it's just watching the horse take a step out of the stall, listening to it coming down the hallway. Um, Everyone goes through that, and we all have a way to achieve what we want to get done. But I think the most important thing about conformation is not to make too fast a judgment. I think along with conformation comes the history from the person that brought you the horse. Because too often I've made an assessment, made some changes, and was glad I still had the shoes hanging on the truck that I took off. So I think the assessment that every farrier makes is an accumulation of the horses that he's worked on, the discipline that he's been involved in, and the people that he's surrounded himself with. I think the people you'll find out that it's no secret that have a better eye and a better capacity to judge and analyze horses are the people that have spent more time with a lot of farriers and shod different disciplines of horses, that can appreciate that there is no perfect horse anymore. They're non-existent. So let's take what we have and let's make him the best that he can be. Get the most potential that that horse possibly can and feel a part of that. Just make an attachment to that shoe that you put on there so that you feel that you've helped his conformation.
And you're still learning. In a practical sense, though, what's a recent idea that really provided you with a light bulb moment?
Well, probably the biggest light bulb idea, and it's not a light bulb, is what I've taken, is the multi-farrier practice. The multi-farrier practice, not only from Red, but from people that I'd met before. The cable family, even though it's not a so-called multi-farrier practice, it's a family. The best thing that I ever took from farriers out in the industry was the ability to delegate, to get like-minded, qualified people to offset my physical strain, to add to the longevity of my business, do a better job at my trim and my nailing, because I don't have to do all that physical work. It's probably the best thing that I've gotten from other people. Is it's not my idea, the multi-practice. And I'm a strong advocate of it. I think it's grossly overlooked. I think shops in the United States are grossly overlooked. I have a lot of friends that have them. A lot more people in the near future are going to have them. I encourage that, and I guide these people. I steer them in the direction of what worked for us. I think that's the best thing I ever did for myself, and that I want to pass that on more. I want to help other people develop a multi-farrier practice in a haul-in shop.
Earlier, you mentioned how it was somewhat difficult to collect money on the track. Could you describe your current billing system now and how you collect money now?
Oh, wow. Again, it's no secret how we run our business. I'm fortunate that I have a business big enough that my wife is involved in what I call collecting. I don't like to call it billing it any longer because we no longer do billing. We still have an accountant, obviously, and a bookkeeper. But we have a policy of no cash and no checks in our business. We strictly take credit cards. I think there's a lot of people that probably do that. We've been doing it a long time. When someone approaches us in either a barn where we're already working or with a new stable, the first thing I do is I pass them out a horse information list. And it is the details of the horse, but is also the credit card information for that horse. And it states on the top, and it's highlighted in yellow, this information must be filled out before work is performed. So we will not perform any work on that horse until I have that credit card information. And quite often, we were in jest one day, a client told me, he says, I can't believe, he said, when you were pulling out of the driveway, you had already charged me for the work that I had done. It was already paid for. Your wife had already billed me. So we take pride in that. I think it's something that the industry should take a little bit more detail in, is the billing. I learned that at a very young age in a hard way. Lost a lot of money on the thoroughbred tracks because I just wasn't qualified. Even if I had the skill to do it, I wasn't qualified to, in the business part of it, to collect my money, and I sadly lost and my family lost. Well, the farrier industry is behind on a lot of things because most of us come out of school and are taught that we have the skills. The schools can only teach so much in a short amount of time. But some of the schools are doing a very good job of telling their students that you need to learn from here. But having the ability or the skill to shoe a horse does not set you on a pace to be an accomplished business person at shoeing. Thank goodness with some of the education that's going on at the summit and some other functions, there's some focus on business, but it's still a very, very sad part. You combine somebody young that has ability to forge, has ability to shoe a horse, and does a wonderful job. If that person has a bit of an attitude, that can hinder them also. So somehow in the future, I know I do every day, and this association will focus a lot more on those skills, the business skills. It's a huge necessity. And I see this happening. There's a huge turnover going to happen in the next 5 to 8 years. That mindset of, oh, it's too easy to shoe a horse now, you need to struggle, you need to make the mistakes to achieve things, it's going to go away because the people that carry those thoughts are going to go away. So we have a huge responsibility, the farriers that are positive and willing to teach, to make it better for the young farrier, because he shouldn't have to make 10 years of mistakes or 20 years of mistakes. The horses don't deserve that, the owners don't deserve that, and young people don't need to struggle anymore. They need to achieve their highest potential as soon as possible to make this a better industry.
It seems like the technology caught up and helped you eliminate that collection problem. But what advice do you have for helping establish that and dictating to the clients what you want your practice to be in terms of collections and service instead of letting the client dictate that? You know, keeping in mind that it's not always easy for the young person starting out.
It's very tough for a young person starting off because you don't have any of those skills. The most important thing for young people is to be honest with their environment and where they live. Be honest with the type of horses that they want to do. Set a goal, not only for how you want to collect money, but where do I want to be? Is this simply a stepping stone where I'm starting and I'm going to start here and end up over here? So it's very important for that young person when he comes out to be realistic about the discipline that he's shoeing, the type of people that he's going to be working for, and you have to be fair with those people. You can't start off here if you're working on neglected animals that maybe there's no one to pay that. Maybe the county has taken them in. There's only so much money that you can get for that. Having said that, you still have to establish criteria for accepting payment. I've found out through the years that when it comes to horses as hobbies, the more grass you see, the less likely you are to get paid. In other words, if it's backyard horses and there's not a professional setting around, sometimes it's very difficult. Those people love their animal, but some can't afford them. They just simply can't. So you can't go into that arena and expect to make a high dollar and get paid cash the day you do the work. It's going to be a learning experience, and maybe you won't get that. However, you need to tell them before you go there, this is what I charge, and I would like to be paid the day that I do the service. Now, maybe they're not going to be there and you have to leave the bill on the fence post or on the garage door or whatever, but make sure that the rules are defined, what you want. It only takes a minute to write a bill, so at the bottom, write out, please, I expect payment within 2 days or 3 days or 10 days. Everyone that owns a horse also needs to accept that that's a responsibility. I think our industry has failed a bit to educate the horse world that horseshoeing is a maintenance issue that needs to be done. Trimming needs to be done. I don't think we've really taught everybody, especially the people that get in at the bottom level that just want to have a pet. It's very important for us to go beyond learning how to pull clips or how to properly trim a horse, but we need in the very near future to educate the owners. We'll make better payments received if we educate the owners before that.
Obviously, with the multi-farrier practice, there's the benefit that comes with helping alleviate the physical nature of the work. How has it improved or changed or influenced your enjoyment in terms of the people you work with?
I have fun every day shoeing horses. The multi-farrier part of it, it makes it easier to do the job. You have the people involved with you that you like to be with. You try to get rid of the stress from the barn if possible. The work is the easy part. When you enjoy it that much and you work with people who enjoy it, we really have fun. We have a lot of fun. We work, we get a lot of horses done, but we enjoy it so much. And it's funny because when I work with one particular person, either my son or the boys that work with me very often, we almost have like a telepathy or something. We read each other's thoughts, and we have little codes to lay things, and they look at shoe wear before me and they'll second guess me. My boys second guess me and they teach me because we overlook things, we get into that pace. So when you can achieve that and working where we're at, we're fortunate to be in the barns that we're at, surround ourselves with people that are positive also. We have fun. I really have such a sense of sadness to think there are people shoeing horses that don't enjoy it, that don't have fun. We can't wait to work every day, with the stop at the coffee shop, of course, first, but in the evenings, the early days, I find myself wanting to stop off at a barn to watch someone ride a horse. I just can't get enough of it. And I feel sad that there's horseshoers that don't get that, or a young farrier somewhere that wants that. I just want to help everybody feel what I feel, to be a part of it, to know how fortunate we are to be in this wonderful industry.
Tell us about the mechanics of the practice. Do you guys have such a thing as a typical day?
Well, a typical day, Brett has been along, I guess, on a typical day. It would be, of course, you get up and have coffee, and we're blessed to watch the sun come up in South Florida, and then we go to the coffee shop and we meet with 2 or maybe 20 other farriers. And we're usually under horses by 8 to 8:30, if possible. I'm fortunate that I've put a lot of planning in it. I don't see myself as a big planner with my clients, but my clients are very aware of the day that we're coming. They're aware of the horses that need to be done. We obviously have our computer sheet that we print out. Software for farriers now is very, very affordable. I strongly urge everyone to do that. So when we go into the barn, we've also been blessed to have educated the clients that we come there to work, we're ready, and we have a designated area to work. So we'll get through 6 or 8 horses, pretty easy in a day, and some days maybe more, depending on how much help I have. 2 cross ties with 3 guys, it's pretty easy to have a horse coming and going every 30 minutes. Well, again, it's just me, and I'm blessed to be a part of it, but when we pull into a barn, I step out of the truck, and I'm fortunate that I don't have to set the truck up. I go look at the list, and I do my PR with the owners, which I feel is very valuable to do. Everyone wants to be aware, have that communication. I come back in 5 or 10 minutes, and my truck is ready. My boys have the boxes right there. They're ready to go, and they're double checking the list also. I can watch that first horse walk up. I make sure everything's set at the truck, but I'm watching the shoes coming off. I'm watching the way the horse is standing. I've already got the history from the trainer and the rider. Is there an issue, or is everything okay? As the shoes are coming off, I watch the horse stand. Where is his stance? I watch his eye. To know the horse and to understand that horse, as soon as you see a horse, again, the older the farrier, the bigger capacity of their storage. You know, this is a computer. So I remember that horse, and I try to challenge myself to say, is he pointing that foot forward? Is he leaning on the back end? So once I get to the state where my son has the shoes off the first horse, whoever's working with me, I've already observed him. I've walked around him. I've analyzed him. I've dropped my lines, my plumb lines. As I go to work, my son is immediately stepping to the next horse, and he's starting to pull the shoes off there. Now, while I was watching that first horse being broken down also, I watched the second horse walk up. He turns in the cross ties. I'm observing him with his shoes off. Does he settle in? Is he square? So when I'm trimming on that first horse, the shoes are coming off of the second horse. The first horse's shoes are already placed on the truck. If they need to be renewed, they're laying right there beside them. We have a sequence where they're at. In the side of the truck I'm qualified to work on is the forging area. We have a shoe prep area on the left side where the boys work. But the shoes are placed there for me. The first horse is broken down. I've trimmed it. I go to the forge. My son's working on the second horse. I have a bit of a view. Most barns where we set up, I can watch what's going on. By the time I get to the truck, those shoes are already in the forge. As I step up to the truck, I start forging. There's no waiting. There's no time off. We have a pretty good system. I'm very proud of the system. I challenge you guys to come and video that someday, because I've wanted to do that forever, to share it with everyone else. There's many, many ways to run a multi-farrier practice. I'm pretty proud of what we've got going on, and I challenge anyone to have a better system.
In many ways, your multi-farrier practice is you're sort of the conductor leading the orchestra. What are some of the things that will disrupt your day?
Life disrupts horseshoeing. Everybody involved in horseshoeing. There's always a sour note once in a while in a good orchestra, but you pick up on that and go on. Probably some of the basic things that's happened is somebody wants you to go watch a horse go, which I love, but that takes a break in the action. But my son knows where to go from there. Work still goes on. He's cleaning the truck or reorganizing the shoes, or I have the most organized son in the world, and that's been a huge benefit for me. Probably a question on another horse, and sadly, because again, as farriers, we have uneducated owners. We're often asked, I am, to answer questions that we shouldn't be asked to answer. Sometimes farriers, I know myself, I've crossed that boundary many times. I'm more aware of that now. I don't like to do that. Well, I think we need to focus on the foot. Just what Dr. Gobble taught me about, it's one gait. Focus on that one gait. If we as farriers focus more on the foot and realize that we're not veterinarians, we shouldn't try to diagnose or ever diagnose another problem. If it's an issue where the vet has already been there and they've contacted me and we're working together, I'm happy to do that, but I don't want to do a veterinarian's work. I'm not a saddle fitter. I fancy myself as a rider, and I've rode, but I don't want to make those judgments. The saddle may fit the horse very well, may not fit the rider at all, but I would rather leave that to that expert. Comes to adjusting bits, I've made bits. Frank McGinnis had a twist machine that used to twist up snaffle bits. I was fascinated by that. I don't want to be a bit maker, so I try to stay away from those questions that aren't Farrier related, and I try to guide them in the direction that they need to go. I see a lot of Farriers, sadly, that get absorbed into that, and they'll call us because, oh, the Farrier, he'll come out, he puts shoes on for free, so he'll come out and look at a horse with a hole in his coronary band, and we don't have to pay him, we have to pay the vet. So it's a sad position that we've got ourselves into. I want to work on that in the next couple of years.